The fluorescent lights of Clarkson's grocery mart hummed faintly above the endless rows of shelves stacked with food. Outside, the evening sun was setting behind the small town of Willow Creek, painting the sky in fading streaks of orange and purple. Inside, a woman in a faded denim jacket moved quickly but carefully down the meat aisle. Her name was Emily Carter, a single mother of 2 young children. Her face carried the look of someone who had aged beyond her years, not from time but from the weight of responsibility. Emily paused near the refrigerated section, her tired eyes scanning the prices. Every package of chicken, every pound of beef, seemed like a number mocking her empty wallet. Rent was due in 3 days. The electricity bill was late again. And the kids? Well, the kids hadn't had a proper dinner in 2 nights. She swallowed hard, glancing toward the small security mirror in the corner. No one was looking. Her fingers trembled as she reached for a package of ground beef. Just one. She slipped it quickly into her oversized purse, heart pounding so loud she could hear it in her ears. Emily wasn't a thief. She had never stolen in her life. But tonight, her children's hungry faces haunted her more than the fear of getting caught. The stranger notices. At the other end of the aisle, Daniel Hayes pushed his shopping cart slowly, scanning the shelves for spaghetti noodles. He was in his early 30s, tall, with a worn leather jacket and the kind of face that looked like it had seen both hard times and better days. He wasn't paying much attention until he saw her, the woman with the tired eyes, slipping something into her purse like she wished she could disappear. Daniel froze for a moment. He had seen shoplifters before, teenagers taking candy bars, men pocketing beer cans, but this woman didn't look like a criminal. Her hands shook. Her eyes darted nervously. And then he saw the small pair of children's shoes sticking out of a second-hand shopping bag in her cart. Realization hit him like a stone. She's not stealing for herself. The store manager arrives. Emily had almost made it to the checkout when a sharp voice called out behind her. "Ma'am, could you step aside for a moment?" Emily froze. Her blood ran cold. It was Mr. Grady, the store manager, a man with a permanent scowl carved into his face. Her worst fear had come true. I was just, Emily stammered, her voice shaking. "Empty the purse," Grady ordered, arms crossed. His voice was loud enough to draw the attention of other shoppers. Heads began to turn. Emily's cheeks burned with shame as she slowly pulled out the package of beef. Her children weren't even here, but she imagined their eyes watching her, confused, wondering why their mother was in trouble. "I can explain," she whispered, her voice cracking. "I was going to pay next week." "Doesn't work that way," Grady snapped. "We don't tolerate thieves here. I'm calling the police." The intervention. Daniel had been watching from a few feet away, his jaw tight. Something inside him refused to let this play out the way Grady wanted. "Hold on," Daniel said, stepping forward. Both Emily and Grady turned to look at him. Daniel pulled out his wallet calmly. "How much is it?" Grady frowned. "What?" "The meat," Daniel said, his voice steady. "How much does it cost?" "I'll pay for it." Emily's eyes widened in shock. "No, you don't have to." But Daniel had already taken out a $20 bill and held it toward Grady. "Problem solved," he said firmly. For a moment, Grady looked annoyed, like a man who had been robbed of his righteous victory. But money was money, and he snatched the bill from Daniel's hand. "Fine," Grady muttered. "But watch yourself, ma'am. Next time it won't end like this." He stormed off toward the registers, muttering under his breath. Emily stood frozen, clutching the package of beef like it was both a blessing and a curse. The aftermath. Outside the store, the cool evening air wrapped around them. Emily turned to Daniel, her face flushed with embarrassment. "You didn't have to do that," she said softly, clutching the grocery bag to her chest. Daniel shrugged. "Yeah, I did." "Why?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Daniel studied her for a moment. "Because I've been where you are. And sometimes people just need someone to give them a break." Emily blinked back tears. It had been so long since anyone had shown her kindness without asking for something in return. "My kids," she began, then stopped, shaking her head. "They haven't eaten a real dinner in days. I didn't know what else to do." Daniel nodded slowly. "What's their favorite meal?" She hesitated. "Spaghetti. With meat sauce. It's cheap, it lasts, and it makes them happy." Daniel smiled faintly. "Then let's get you some spaghetti." Before she could protest, he went back inside and returned with noodles, canned tomatoes, and even a small bag of apples. "Consider it an early dinner," he said, handing her the bag. The dinner invitation. Emily wanted to refuse. Pride told her to. But hunger and gratitude won the battle. "Thank you," she whispered. Then, before she could overthink it, she added, "Would you maybe like to join us? For dinner, I mean. It's the least I can do." Daniel looked surprised but nodded. "I'd like that." At Emily's house. Her house was small and worn, with peeling paint on the porch railings and a squeaky screen door. Two little faces peeked out from the window as they approached. Lily, age 6, and Tommy, age 4. "Mommy!" Lily cried as Emily walked in with the groceries. The children's eyes lit up at the sight of real food. "This is Mr. Daniel," Emily introduced softly. "He helped us tonight." The kids didn't care about the details. They just wanted dinner. As the spaghetti cooked, the tiny kitchen filled with warmth and the smell of simmering sauce. The children chattered, Daniel listened, and Emily found herself laughing, a sound she hadn't heard from her own mouth in weeks. A small beginning. After dinner, the kids fell asleep on the couch, full and happy for the first time in days. Emily stood at the door as Daniel prepared to leave. "I don't know how to thank you," she said quietly. "You already did," he replied with a small smile. She hesitated, then asked, "Why were you so quick to help a stranger?" Daniel looked toward the dark street before answering. "Because once someone did the same for me. And it changed everything." Emily felt something shift inside her, a mix of hope and gratitude she hadn't felt in a long time. "Maybe," she said softly, "this is the start of things getting better." Daniel met her eyes and nodded. "Maybe it is." And for the first time in weeks, Emily believed it.